Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in. Welcome to the 156th episode of the Drunk Doctor Who podcast, wherein we wear hats. So, the Hatter. Wherein we discuss the 156th serial.
Yep.
Battlefield story.
Yeah. Battlefield. Well, we're going to get to the point soon where they're not serials, they're just modular episodes. Of most of them, not all of them. All right, I'm Hatter. This is Holden.
That's me.
And what are we drinking today?
Twisted tea.
All right, and I have Tito's vodka.
Cheers. Made in Texas.
Austin, I think. Okay.
So jump in your TARDISes, hop back in time to September 6th, 1989.
Hey, yeah, where's the dates on here?
Oh, we didn't put there.
Yeah. All right. 9/6/1989 to when?
The 27th of September.
All right.
4
episodes. Companion is Ace.
And the Brigadier.
Yeah. Oh, yes, and the Brigadier. I'm surprised you didn't put that up. Yeah.
We have 2 Brigadiers in this one.
Brigadier. Yeah, we're talking about the Brigadier. All right. And the other one, the antagonists are Mordred, Morgaine, and the Devourer. If you are not familiar with these names, Mordred and Morgaine, we're talking King Arthur, medieval knights, Excalibur, all of that. 8th century stuff.
All within a cereal with so much ham and cheese, throw in some bread, you'd have a sandwich.
All right. We watched the Blu-ray because it's available. But here's the original DVD, which I also have. And you get to see right here, Morgaine, the Brigadier, and the Destroyer. Now this goes back to, we've encountered this a few times, where there is magic in Doctor Who. Most of it's science fiction, but you get a few cases of actual magic.
Yeah, like, The Daemons?
The Daemons, yep. So that's exactly what I was going to mention. And this is another case of magic, because she comes from a parallel universe where apparently magic is really common, and they don't understand our dependence on machines.
So when you talk about the TARDIS, the time and relative dimensions in space, does that include other dimensions entirely, or just this dimension's space? Like, could he travel to alternate dimensions with the TARDIS?
I don't think he ever does.
Like a dimension in which Camelot and Arthur and the Round Table are all real.
Okay.
Because it kind of implies that he is Merlin.
Yeah, it doesn't imply. Let's outstate he's Merlin, but Merlin in a future form.
Future him in the past went forward in time to go back
to the future. Yeah. No. His future, our past.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. They all acknowledge that he's Merlin. Now, the Doctor is. So later on, there's a couple scenarios where you transverse universes. When the 5 Doctors go into the negative universe, made up of antimatter.
Right. Yeah.
That's one. Another one is in the future, where Whittaker's Doctor is from another universe. Originally, the Timeless Child garbage, and then they're destroying our universe systematically to punish the Doctor and force the Doctor into the next universe.
Oh.
Yeah, which, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't been fully addressed yet, but it's coming.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Fun stuff.
All right, so did you think at the end that it should have been more episodes, or do you think they padded out that last episode? Because I'm kind of in two minds about it.
I thought it was pretty much exactly right.
Okay, because
there's a little padding, a little fast pace.
Yeah, I mean,
overall, it felt like a genuine Doctor Who serial.
Okay, because in that last episode, there's like 3 different times when you could have had a cliffhanger to a new episode.
Mm-hmm.
And
but just not enough material to
in
justify.
between, yeah. And I couldn't tell if that final battle between Morgaine and Mordred and all that. Sorry, Mordred and what's his name, Asselin or whatever.
Alistair Anselin.
Anselin. Between Mordred and Anselin was padding. You know, it was hard to tell in that. Yeah. But anyway,
it was kind of like they were coming to the end of several different character arcs all at the same time.
Yes, and the characters are given some nice fitting finales. You know.
Yeah. So I thought it worked.
No. Okay, so all right. I really like this serial. It's good, it's fun, and I like the Excalibur stuff.
Yeah.
The King Arthur stuff. Okay, 4 episodes. We start
in a garden wherein we see the Brigadier and his wife Doris.
She finally caught him.
Finally caught him.
Yeah, he had mentioned her once or twice before.
Now, we also have a new Brigadier, Winifred, who's not the daughter of the Brigadier.
No.
Someone else.
Brigadier Winifred Becerra?
Something like that.
Yeah, last name. Okay, so in the past, it starts out with Unit. Mm-hmm. In the past, Unit has been incredibly British. Mm-hmm. And in the future, a lot of times it's incredibly British. In this particular serial, they go out of their way to show the United Nations and to show the international people. You've got Andropov, or whatever his name was. Mm-hmm. You've got
Briganov.
Yeah, you've got the lady who, can you speak Czech? Because apparently she's from Czechoslovakia. Yeah, you've got Yusak, who is very Middle Easternish. And then I think you've got an Indian guy at the one point. Mm-hmm. But they go through and they in this particular case are showcasing the United Nations aspect of Unit.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Yeah, it's
kind of reminded me of Tekken, like the fighting game where you have all different nationalities of fighters coming to this one tournament, and they're all speaking in their own language. And just can understand each other somehow.
Okay. All right. So we open up, and like you said, you see the Brigadier with his wife Doris in this huge English garden, just enormous.
He must have had quite a pension from his time in the service to afford that house and property.
Possibly, or maybe Doris happened to have money.
Huh?
Mm.
Yeah, I wonder what Doris did.
I don't know, but it was I wouldn't say palatial, but it was a good southern plantation-like house, nice and big.
Yeah.
But built in the British style. And that backyard is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for plants for him to plant, some trees. And then it cuts to the other Brigadier, what was her last name? Becerra?
Winifred.
That's her first name.
Yeah.
Which is an odd name for a woman. But yeah. That may be common in some cultures somewhere, but I'm not familiar very much with that name.
Oh, Winifred?
Yeah.
I thought Winifred was a character from the Round Table. Arthur.
Oh, that would even be better. Because it's a callback. I don't know. What's the one? I don't know.
One of the knights.
That would be perfect, actually.
Sir Winifred. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm not really up to snuff on my Arthur and the Round Table lore.
Okay, so she's leading a convoy that's carrying a nuclear missile. Mm-hmm. And they're taking it from one place to another, I guess. And the convoy gets stuck right next to a lake. And what was the name of the lake?
No idea.
Oh, okay. But the name of the lake means High King in Old Britain.
Oh.
Yeah. which was King Arthur, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why his spaceship, we'll get to it, spaceship, is down at the bottom of the lake. Yeah. So anyway, so you set up with the Brigadier and his wife, and then you have the younger Brigadier, Winfred, leading that group. And then it cuts to the Doctor and Ace. And
Dark TARDIS.
yeah, the Doctor and Ace are in the TARDIS, and the light is off. And Ace is like, and you see just the basic centerpiece of the TARDIS set, and you see roundels behind them. But if you look closely, the roundels are off. They don't look right. The reason was the TARDIS set was incredibly dilapidated by this point, and they had the lights off, so the Doctor was thinking or concentrating or whatever. And they didn't even have the roundels in the background. They just put up a sheet that was printed with roundels.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, and on the older TVs back in the day, most people wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But on the modern TVs, it's much easier to see.
You ever see that YouTube video where there's the 5 guys in blue shirts and 5 guys in red shirts, and they ask you to keep track of how many balls each group has bouncing, and then at the end of it they ask you if you notice the gorilla walking through, and you don't because your attention is so.
Okay.
That was this. I didn't notice the roundels.
Okay, that's like the Matrix when he's looking at the girl in the red dress and doesn't notice him pointing the gun at him or whatever.
Is that the newest one?
No, the first one. The Matrix.
Oh.
You were looking at the girl in the red dress, weren't you?
I don't remember that scene.
Good
movie, though.
Yeah, great movie. There were 2 great movies of 1999. The Matrix and Fight Club.
Oh, Fight Club was good.
Yeah. Alright, so anyway, the Doctor and Ace are in the TARDIS, and this is the only time this season we see the inside of the TARDIS.
Really?
We see that set. Only time. They were planning for the 27th season to build a brand new TARDIS set because the old one was so bad. They were going to use some of the budget money to do that, but of course the show gets canceled at the end of the season and it wasn't the 27th season. Yeah. Alright,
so this is the last season of the old stuff we're watching.
Yes, this is the last season of the original run.
And then we're on to the...
Well, there's third-party stuff, the Apocrypha, which we'll go through.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the TV movie, which is the first revival, essentially.
That's the animated one?
No, not animated, live action.
Oh.
Then we'll do...
I thought we watched the movies already.
Okay, we watched the movies, the Daleks.
Yeah, the 2 Dalek movies.
Yep.
And then the docudrama.
Yes.
And then there's another movie
that
was a revival.
Okay, 1996, McGann, the guy with the ascot, yeah, he was the 8th Doctor.
Oh, and he does a movie?
He did what was called the TV movie.
Ah.
And it was basically like an hour and a half, 2-hour pilot for Doctor Who to start the new run. But they put it up against the last episode of Roseanne, so it didn't do well.
Ah.
So Fox, who was doing it with the BBC, didn't actually commission for the series to be made. So between 1989, when this season ends, and 2005, when the current run starts, that is the only Doctor Who episode in the 90s.
Oh.
That's it.
And then it's on to the new stuff.
Yeah, well, we will do a bunch more third-party stuff, and then, the wilderness years is what they call them, and then on to the new stuff. And, of course, we will visit the 30th anniversary while we're doing the third-party stuff, even though it's not third-party.
So plenty of content still to come.
Yeah. And then we'll get to the new stuff, and we will have spin-offs galore, still third-party stuff, and lots of Doctor Who.
That like the same watch schedule as the main group. They're watching all the third-party stuff.
Yeah. In fact, with this, we are only 2 serials behind the main group. We started Survival, the last serial of the original run, but then Beard's kid got sick, so he had to go home. So we only finished one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then this last week, I was coming back from Houston with the plane delay of 5 hours, so we couldn't get together and finish it. So you and I are kind of catching up to the main group, and
Gotcha.
we are one animated serial ahead of the main group. Because we ended up watching we ended up watching the Toy Maker.
Oh, yeah.
The Socio Toy Maker, because it fell in with our stuff better than the main group. So the main group hasn't seen that yet. So we will be passing up the main group again, hopefully soon.
Cool.
Alright. Okay, so
Future Nights.
Yeah. Alright, hold on. So there's an alarm going off from the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm. Distress beacon.
Yeah, and Ace was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's a distress beacon." She's like, "Who for?" I said, "I don't know. Let me decode it." And he decodes it.
Comes from Earth.
Yeah, and it's for him.
It's for him.
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, you get this weird grovelly voice," and she's like, "I don't want to go there." And he's like, "Too late. We're already here."
Already there. So that was him sending himself a distress beacon from Arthur's spaceship from the future past.
Kind of. This is very wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff because he set up stuff in the future that his past self would find and do and stuff like that. Like with the door activated to his voice pattern inside the spaceship.
Except it wasn't his same voice.
No, but his voice pattern.
He has a... So even when he regenerates, he keeps the same voice pattern?
According to this, yes. Although, okay, remember, this is the time when they're trying to make the Doctor to be a lot more than just the Doctor. And they keep hinting, there was Rassilon and Omega and the other one. And apparently the implications, the other one is the Doctor. And this is yet another serial where they're doing that. I mean, why would the Doctor have Omega's hand? Why would the Doctor have access to X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
Because he's the other one. He's more than just a normal Time Lord. In the same way, this is implying that he's Merlin. Not implying, flat out stating that a future him is Merlin. Which would be really interesting to visit on the other side.
Oh, that would be cool.
If it's a future him, they could still do it with any current person playing the Doctor and have them go back. Have to be a male for Merlin, probably a white male, like that's the way he's always portrayed. And back then in Britain, according to the legends, I mean, there weren't hardly anybody else, It wasn't like finally in it took until the Crusades and stuff where you'd start to get some other people, diversity in the United Kingdom, but that's after King Arthur's 8th century stuff, supposedly. So any white male Doctor they could do that from the other side. It would be interesting.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, it would. It'd even be more interesting than having the Doctor finally become the Valeyard and seeing the side from the Valeyard,
That was weird.
Yeah. But both of those could be done and would be fascinating from a completist fan point of view,
Yes.
Yeah, but it would be pure fan service. A lot of people wouldn't understand it. You would have to make it really good.
So the Doctor was the Valeyard and Merlin in the future.
At some point in the future.
Traveled back in time to be those people.
No.
What if every Time Lord is the Doctor, just on different regenerations, traveling back in time to fill different roles?
There's actually theoretical reasons you could believe that.
So an entire race of Time Lords is actually just the one timeless child.
With the timeless child and the bi-generation garbage.
Bi-generation? Tri-generation?
No, it's just
Okay.
But anyway, in theory, that is theoretically possible, which is stupid. I preferred it when he was just the hobo in a box, you know, not timeless child garbage. All right. Anyway, so you see shooting at Earth. One guy in a suit of armor, and then he lands.
Where did he come from?
Yeah, he came from the other universe apparently.
Oh.
And then after him, you see some other guys shooting at the planet, and that's Morgane's troops. Yeah. And so you get, what the heck's his name again? Aloysius? I don't know.
Aloysius. I love that.
Aloysius. It's a name from It's a Mad World.
Anselin?
Anselin. Alright, so the Doctor and Ace trying to hitch a ride with their thumbs, and the new Brigadier, Winifred, passes them by. She's like, no, military thing, we can't compromise a nuclear missile, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But then the Doctor and Ace get a ride from
Peter
Lanyard, or what was his last name?
I wrote down Peter.
Okay. He constantly introduces himself by his last name, which is a very British thing and a very traditional thing.
I should have wrote that down then.
Yeah, I think it was Lanyard or something like that. Wainfer.
Traveling Lanyard. Peter Lanyard.
No, not Lanyard. It started with a W. Alright, so anyway, this guy's an archaeologist and has been forever. He's old, and he's apparently the one member of the society that's digging up this lake. Digging up the area by the lake.
And which I also did not write down the name of.
Right. Like I said, I remember what it means, I just don't remember the name. And this is when you find out what it means when the Doctor and Ace in here talking in the car. There are basically two sites in this serial. There's the lake, which also has the dig and the nuclear missile, and the spaceship under the lake. And then the other one is the inn. So over at the inn where the people are staying, and there's so much happening as they go back between the lake and the inn.
Yeah.
I mean, just constantly. There's a small vision of the village at one point where the Brigadier is looking for help and runs into Morgane. And there's a small bit of those old ruins, which is where they finally end up when the Brigadier is fighting the destroyer.
Yeah, like castle.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So you got the ruins, you got the village, but they're barely in it. All the rest of it is the lake, the inn, and the road between the lake and the inn. Okay, so the Doctor gets down with Ace to the lake where the nuclear missile is stuck. And he introduces himself, and he uses...
He has the old
unit credentials. Yeah.
Antiquated.
Right, and he's like, oh, I never thought I'd need these again because it's unit. And she's like, who is,
Sarah Jane?
No, it wasn't Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane didn't work with unit. She was a journalist.
Nissa.
It was like 2 or 3 companions before Sarah Jane.
Tegan.
No.
Burley.
Well, I've got it here.
Harry. Salatine. Mel. Ace. That would have worked out well.
Oh, for name was because it was Ace. Oh, Elizabeth Shaw.
Elizabeth Shaw.
Yeah, she's like the
next
third Doctor's first companion, besides along with Brigadier.
Oh, I did a different notebook.
And she's like, who's Elizabeth Shaw? I don't even look like this woman, which is absolutely correct. Elizabeth Shaw was a little bit older. He's like, don't worry, just think like a physicist. And They barge in with their old badges.
Confidence is key.
Yeah, confidence is key. See, this is why I think it could have been at least one more episode. There's a lot of cut bits that you're like, okay, there was a scene that's missing here. And B, there actually is a full movie version of it with all the extra bits put in.
Really?
Yeah. It's on that same disc.
Neat.
Yeah. And I guess we could have watched that, but we wanted to watch, generally speaking, the broadcast.
One,
yeah. But yeah, they kind of did a movie cut of it in the 90s where the extra bits were put in because it is a highly regarded serial. And it helps with the pacing, you know?
Yeah.
Because the pacing jumps around a bit on this.
Not interrupted by adverts and run times. And
yeah. Well, they don't do advertisements like that in the UK. Not on the BBC.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They start a show, they let it run until it's over. And then if there's time before the next show, they do advertisements. But it's usually watch the next show or watch this other show or something. They are funded by a TV license, not by advertisements.
You got a license for that television?
Mm-hmm. Telly. We call it telly.
Telly.
Yeah. We have a habit of, and I think we've talked about this before on this podcast, we have a habit of using initials. TV for television.
Yeah.
They have a habit of shortening it to the first couple of syllables. Telly. So when they talk about a VCR, they talk about a video.
Yeah.
And we say VCR, they say video. We say TV, they say telly. We like to use the initials, and they like to use the first couple of syllables. Yeah, it just is what it is.
Microwave. Bottle of water.
That's bad accent.
It's like they're talking with marbles in their mouth or something.
Sometimes. And we do the same thing sometimes. It just depends on where you are.
Yeehaw. Howdy, partner.
Alright, so they get in, and he mentions he's the doctor, and that's Ace. And they had they've been having problems with communications. And the episode keeps showing Excalibur's pommel blinking. The jewel in the pommel.
Why does it do that?
Well, apparently, the attempt to cross over from other universes to the fixed point there is creating problems with mechanical issues, problems with the radio waves, communications, all that.
Was that the distress beacon coming from?
That was part of it. Well, and the other part, part of it was definitely the stress beacon. Part of it was the attempt of Mordred and Morgaine to cross over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
The ripping time, space.
Yeah.
Dimension.
Okay, so. After the doctor is unceremoniously carted out of the command trailer, one sergeant or whatever goes up and goes, Brigadier, to Winifred, Brigadier. He's like, she's like, what do you know? And he's like, well, when I was with Brigadier Lethbridge Gordon Stewart,
it's a Briganov.
Wait, Gordon Lethbridge Stewart. He's like, way back, he would talk about this guy named the Doctor. And she's like, well, was that him? He says, I don't know. She's like, okay, what do you mean you don't know? He says, well, he acted like him, but the Doctor would occasionally change his face. She's like, oh, master of disguises. No. He would change completely, and his personality. She's like, well, how can it be the same person? He goes, I don't know, but it was. She's like, okay, contact him and find out about this. And that's where the Brigadier comes in.
Yeah.
So they contact...
doesn't take the call initially.
Yeah, they contact Geneva, and then Geneva contacts the Brigadier, and his wife answers the phone, Doris, and she goes, okay, and he's like, no.
Tell him I'm retired.
I'm retired. I don't care if it's a king calling. I'm retired. She's like, well, it was the whatever general? the head of the United Nations.
Yeah. I don't care if it's the king.
Yeah. And she goes, well, yeah, but he mentioned the doctor's back. And the brigadier kind of stands up and goes, well, I do have a duty to my country. He just wants to see the doctor again. Oh, and I love that line by the sergeant. Well, just one thing you gotta know, whenever the doctor shows up, all hell breaks loose. Yeah. True. So the brigadier grabs his uniform, and his gun. His wife doesn't like him going, but he does. And then they land a helicopter in his backyard, his garden.
They love that helicopter.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
a lot of beef footage.
Yeah, well they paid for it. Why not use it? All right, they rented that helicopter rather than make a new set for the TARDIS.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so the helicopter takes off with the brigadier in it. Okay.
And Future Knights?
Okay, yeah. So the Future Knights show up and they fight Ancelin. And there's about a dozen of these knights. And most of them have little laser guns. Mm-hmm. But Ancelin and Mordred are fighting with classic swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you do.
Right. At the beginning, Ancelin also has like a laser machine gun.
Yeah.
He's using. And they're also using explosives.
Yes. Grenades.
Okay, in the meantime, the Doctor and Ace...
I mean, King Arthur used the holy hand grenade at some point.
Of Antioch, yes. Yeah. Okay. Ace has met this other young lady. What was her name?
Xiao Yang.
Asian. And they hit it off pretty well. And
they're both into explosives.
Yeah. They hit off really well. Apparently they're both into explosives. She knows the archaeologist guy. And the Doctor gets all into the scabbard on the wall in the inn.
Yeah, it's hot and it's cold.
Yeah. And there's the blind lady reading in Braille.
Also named Doris?
No. I don't remember what name she had.
Me either.
It's yelled at one point or two. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it could have been, in the old days it would have been 6 episodes, but it could have easily been 5 even at this point. Sword fights and grenades and stuff between the good knight Ancelin and the bad knights. When they throw a grenade at him, launches him into the air, and he lands in this brewery kind of barn, which Patrick, I think the name of the husband of the blind lady, and they run the inn together. He makes this beer that supposedly he likes, but not many other people do. Although Mordred likes it later on.
He could have hated it.
Yeah. So
he drank like 5 of them.
Yeah. So he lands in the barn, and the Doctor and Ace and Young go in, and they take off his helmet, and
it's a man.
Yeah. At first they think it might be a robot, but no, it's a man. Mm-hmm. And they take off the helmet, and he wakes up, and he's like, Merlin. And they're like, what? Merlin, I know it's you. Well, do I look like Merlin? Not your countenance, but your mannerisms.
Aura.
It's you. And then, okay, during one of the battles, Brigadier Barrera's tire got shot out. So she has to, and she's like, great. So she has to walk back to the village. She shows up just in time. She's like, okay, these people are all freaks. All of them. They're crazy. I'm going to arrest them. She pops into the barn and holds him at gunpoint. And you think the end of the episode might be right there, but it's not quite. Then you hear explosions, and then the Black Knights come in, and Young slips away real fast, and the rest of them are there, and the main Commander Knight goes, "Kill them all."
Now.
Yeah. End of episode 1. Oh my gosh. It was incredibly fast paced in some places, and there are bits that you feel are missing, which is one of the reasons I think it could have been 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Or in the old days it would have been at least 6, but even at this point it could have been 5.
And we're on to episode 2. Why do they think the Doctor's Merlin?
Because in his future, our past, he will be Merlin.
But he looks different. It's a different regeneration.
Yes, but they recognize his mannerisms and his bearing.
He just woke up.
Well, that's the one guy, Anselin. The other guy, Mordred. Yeah, because Mordred comes like, "Kill them all," and then he looks over at Anselin and goes, "Anselin, I will kill you. I have sworn this." And then Anselin goes, "Look at him." And the Doctor goes, "Recognize me?" And Mordred's like, "Merlin? But my mother, she froze you in the caves of something for all eternity." And he's like, "Nope." But I mean, literally, you could believe that's where the Doctor ends at some point. Some caves for all eternity or something. Who knows? But so
that's where the latest regeneration is stuck at. We haven't got to that episode yet.
Nah, I don't think there is that episode yet. So the Doctor / Merlin had apparently defeated Morgaine.
The one with Mr. Bean.
Oh, the Curse of Fatal Death. The Curse of Fatal Death. I'll show that to you when we get to that point.
You already showed it to me.
Oh, I already showed it to you. There you go.
And then the Master, and he falls down the hole, and stuck for 1,000 years. And
he does it again.
And falls down again.
Oh, man. Yeah, Richard E. Grant, Mr. Bean. That's the first time Richard E. Grant plays a Doctor, then he plays him again later on. Rowan Atkinson.
Is that one of the children in the
Hugh
specials?
Grant. Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Wasn't it?
And, Lowry from Brazil.
Lowry?
Yeah, Price. And Jonathan Price. And he plays the Master.
Hugh Laurie?
No, Hugh Grant.
Bit of Fry and Laurie?
No, although one of them does show up in Doctor Who later on.
Neato?
The thicker guy, not the thinner guy.
Fry.
Okay. Yeah, the other one shows up in Blackadder.
Hugh Laurie.
Yeah. Which...
And then he becomes a doctor. House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who else was in Blackadder?
Rowan Atkinson.
Exactly. Who plays it?
They only have like a handful of actors.
Yeah. The United Kingdom has like 40 actors, and they keep reusing them for everything. I mean, if they're good, use them. All right. So the Doctor kind of bluffs down Mordred. They leave, and the Doctor, Ace, Young, the Brigadier Winfred, and Anselin. Okay. They all head out the other direction, and Brigadier Winfred and Anselin get in a fight. They're brawling with each other. Yeah.
Establishing a rank.
Yeah, establishing, no, not rank, what did you say? Credentials, yeah. So whoever gets the best of the other, has a leg up on the credentials. This episode is this serial is very pro-woman in the fact that we have a female brigadier for the first time. she gets the better of Anselin, one of the best knights in their world, right? Mm-hmm. She gets the better of him and handcuffs him. And at the end, it's the ladies who tell the men what to do.
Yeah, Doris really upends the traditional roles.
And that's fine. Have episodes like that. Don't care. Just don't be condescending to the men or misandristic or any of that stuff, which will happen later on. All right.
So you get more helicopter B footage.
Oh yeah. So the Brigadier is still coming along, and they had to go to London. They had to fill out a bunch of paperwork for him to basically be reinstated long enough to deal with the situation. He says, what, an inch of paperwork and half a pint of blood.
Yeah.
And he's with the Czechoslovakian unit lady. He's like, can you speak Czech? And she's like, only when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
So finally they leave London. They don't show any of the stuff in London. And they're going to Cadbury?
Cadbury?
No, not Cadbury.
The egg.
No, not that. But I think the name of the town is Cadbury.
Oh, okay.
Did you not write that down?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So they're heading to Cadbury, where all this is taking place. And
I wrote down useless things like Salamander 6-0 was the
Salamander. We've dealt with him before.
Was their call code?
Yeah, but you remember Salamander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Second Doctor? Yeah, love it.
Salamander.
Okay, so they're heading in. In the meantime, Mordred has summoned Morgaine through the trans-dimensional door. Yeah, there's two glowing balls, orbs, sort of a little bit of heath, or a pile of dirt or something that he buries his sword in, which is the brother of Excalibur.
Yeah, right.
He's got a couple of knights behind him, black knights, and he does the maniacal laugh, as he summons his mother, Morgaine.
As he inserts.
Yeah, he has to plant the sword.
Caliber. It's Excalibur and Caliber?
No, he gives a name, I don't remember. So he brings her over in this weird interdimensional way. She didn't have to get shot in like the knights. Anyway, they're walking through the town, and she's like, what do you make of that? And Mordred's like, it's like an ornithopter, but with whirly blades.
Yeah.
And she's like,
obsessed with machines.
Yeah, people are obsessed with machines. Well, let's show them what happens when a machine fails. Yeah, and she does something weird like that or something, and shoots out purple stuff, and it knocks the helicopter out of the sky.
Kind of like what's the movie with the wand and the little guy? Willow. Yeah. The end of that one, she turns them all into pigs, though. She goes and transforms the. It's a weird movie.
Oh, wait. You're not thinking Time Bandits, are you?
No.
Okay.
They turn one of the guys into
one of the dwarves into an actual pig. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so the Brigadier and his Czechoslovakian pilot, who's
shot down,
name I can't remember, they crash land. They survive. She tears a ligament or something, so he's going to the village for help. Like I said, this should have been. There's a lot of chopped out scenes. This should have been at least 5 episodes. So, Mordraine has a big thing with honor. Live with honor, die with honor. You can't win a war without honor. It's all honor.
Even though he's kind of a butt.
No, Morgaine.
Oh yeah.
Not her son Mordred.
Oh, right.
Mordred's a jerk. He is a jerk in
Yeah,
the myth. He's a jerk in the stories. He's always a jerk, and he acts it out in this serial. Do you need a Diet Coke or something? Some caffeine?
Maybe.
All right. So anyway, Morgaine. Okay, her son Mordred reads the names in the village from a statue, a memorial, and he's like, "These are the men who died in wars," and she's like, "Then these people are much more advanced and honorable than you led me to believe," which also implies some other scenes that weren't there, you know?
Yeah.
You led me to believe, and you battled them on their soil in a dishonorable way. You know, be gone with you. And she sort of exiles him.
Yeah.
And she sends him with 2 of the knights, leave with him, 2 of the Black Knights. Right after that, the Brigadier shows up because he's looking for help in the village to help with the pilot. And he has his gun pointed at her, and she looks at him. And you're like, you know, if he wasn't married, that would make an interesting couple.
No, yeah.
But she looks at him and goes,
Some tension there.
A warrior. And there's some tension, but you feel like there's another cut scene, because then it jumps to him going, you know, there's no explanation. But he goes, okay, so you're doing a war memorial for our dead, a ceremony. She's like, yes. And you're not going to fight during that, and you won't fight me.
Ceasefire.
Yeah, ceasefire. And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay, and he puts up his gun. But you're missing part of that, you know? Yeah. All right, anyway, so they finish their memorial service or whatever, and she says, okay, no offense, I like you, but next time I see you, I'll have to kill you. He's like, okay. Well, remember, she summoned as Morgaine, the Ageless, the Immortal.
That was her title?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, she calls herself Morgaine of the Fae. Mordred refers to her as that.
Ah.
So
then it jumps back to the lake bed beach with the doctor and excavator Peter. And Ace jumps in and she dusts off a stone. It says something and he says, oh, that no one can interpret it. And then Peter is like, oh, the doctor says, it says dig hole here.
Yeah.
And he goes, how did you interpret that? And he's like, well, it's in my handwriting.
Apparently it's in Gallifreyan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Ace goes to work setting up an explosive to dig a hole there. Very conveniently. Set the timer to 60 seconds. Goes off in about 10
seconds. 11, 12 seconds. Doctor's like...
Doctor's upset, yeah.
Someday we're going to have a serious conversation about safety standards. But yeah, so she blows a perfect size hole in the ground. That reveals a tunnel, which I guess the archaeologist would have gotten to eventually, if you live that long.
I don't know if he would have. Is it a centimeter per year?
For a dig that size, yeah.
Does it dig size?
Well, I don't think the top part of the tunnel was too much below where he was, but the bottom part, I'm assuming he got to the concrete tunnel, he would have kept digging, you know? I don't know. He would have been like, what the hell, a concrete tunnel?
A sewage pipe.
Yeah, it looks like a big sewer pipe. Anyway, so...
The doctor and Ace go spelunking into the concrete tunnel hole.
And he tells the archaeologist... Okay, we skipped a part we're going to have to go back and talk about. Oh. But he tells the archaeologist, hey, guard the whole tunnel, make sure no one else comes down here. And he goes, what do you want me to do?
What am I going to do?
Tell him about archaeology, yeah.
Yes.
He was like, okay. So... In the meantime, alright. the Brigadier Winifred finally commandeered a vehicle after hers blew up, and she's driving along a road, and she gets the radio signal. Oh, if the doctor's involved, look for a police box.
Oh yeah, watch out for it.
It just like rolls back. What the hell?
There's the police box.
Yeah. After she and the Anselin fight, for the rest of the story, there's a little bit of sexual tension between them, and you get the feeling by the end that they're together,
betrothed.
Yeah, she asks him if he's married at one point. He asks her if she's betrothed at one point, and by the end, you get the feeling they're together. Yeah. Lots of good, like I said, good story arcs and character arcs there. Yeah. Anyway, so the Doctor and Ace go down there.
There's it's a concrete tunnel, which concrete didn't exist way back then.
Yeah.
But they're looking at, and everything's all futuristic. And then there's an entryway to a spaceship that's under the lake bed. Which
it looks like the mouth of a dragon or something.
No one ever saw the spaceship.
Not from the outside, just from the inside.
The underwater cam, it shows a pretty obvious spaceship, so the water's pretty clear. No divers ever found it. Strange.
In this particular lake, of all places, yeah.
Very famous lake, the one that's
of
the name that we can't remember, but apparently has to do with the lore of King Arthur, which isn't lore in this alternate dimension. It actually happened. It's
lore here, but there it's at least has basis in fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except more futuristic and lasers. And
and it's a time of the reclamation when King Arthur will come back and lead his troops into battle and all that. When Britain's direst time, which you probably would have expected to have been either the Norman invasion in 1066 or World War II, but it didn't come back for either of those.
Nope.
Maybe the worst is still going to happen. I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah. 1984 or something.
Except he's not coming back. He's dead.
Yeah, it turns out he's dust. So, anyway, the Doctor and Ace finally get down there. In the meantime, Morgane's planning and plotting all sorts of stuff.
How do we get this door open, Doctor?
Yeah.
Open sesame.
Open. It's me. Oh, how'd you do that? Recognize my voice pattern, which
is not the same voice, but maybe is the same. Was it McCoy? Do you think he went and did that before regenerating into McGann?
No, because they say that they only recognize him by his mannerisms.
Oh yeah, different face.
Different face. So they go down there
poking and prodding around.
Yeah, poking and prodding around. Ace pulls Excalibur out of the stone. She says, well,
she was worthy.
Doesn't matter if I pull on it. I'm not the king of Britain. She pulls it out of the stone, and it sets off this pretty bad special effect. Green snake thingy flying around that they're trying to get away from, and it never hits Ace, but knocks the Doctor around quite a bit. Trying to escape it, Ace runs into a little
chamber,
but it's a dead end.
Locks her in.
Yeah, then a glass screen comes down, and water starts filling in the chamber. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And the Doctor's trying to save her. He's trying to figure out things, but the thing knocks him out again.
Yeah.
End of episode 2.
End of episode 2. Episode 3, we're back on the lake bed surface with Peter. He's doing some blah 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 nonsense.
Well, first the Doctor saves Ace.
Luckily, the water chamber trap is a exit valve of the spaceship. And
once you turn it off, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ace comes out of the water holding Excalibur up, much like the
mythical.
Yeah, the mythical Lady of the Lake. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. All right, and Okay, so Ace is holding on to Excalibur, and she comes out of the lake, and she walks up, and there is Brigadier Winifred, the archaeologist, and Anselin. And she looks at Anselin, and she hands him Excalibur, says, "Here, be king of the Britons." It's like, "This is Excalibur." She says, "That's what I meant, Shakespeare." Just as a note, when you watch the scene, if you do, at the end of episode 2, where Ace is trapped in the water chamber, the actress, Sophia Alford, actually almost drowned while doing that, the same way her character almost drowned while they were doing that. And, you know, one of those almost mishaps that killed somebody. Very harrowing, I'm sure, for her. But anyway, so then the Doctor is trying to stop the green snake special effect, and he just about gets knocked out again after he saves Ace, you know. And he is trying to get to the biomechanical control panel, which we've seen like with the Zygons and stuff. But this isn't a Zygon ship, but it's another example of it, to turn the thing off. And right as he's knocked out and he doesn't think he's going to survive, a boot steps on the control and crushes it, and the snake thing disappears. And the Doctor looks at the boot and looks up, and it's the Brigadier. And the Brigadier goes, "Doctor, I presume?" And he's like, "How did you know?" He said, "Only you would be in this much trouble."
And how?
The Doctor seeing the Brigadier. Okay, so
Brigadier saves him by stepping on the squishy control panel.
biomechanical or whatever. Yeah. And we, I was mentioning we saw some stuff like that in the Zygons.
Yeah.
The Zygon stuff. And Doctor's like very messy.
Yeah, gross.
So the Brigadier and the Doctor come out of the spaceship. And, you know, they're like, "Well, I thought nobody was going to get out of this trap." It's like, "Well, we did. And Ace did." Yep.
So then we're back in the inn, right? With
Mordred. Yeah, Mordred shows up.
He's drinking the beer.
Yeah, after he kind of got exiled by his mother, he goes to the inn, and he's acting like a jerk, which is his character. And then the pilot shows up.
Yeah.
And she's a decent enough looking young lady. And he's like, "Oh, there is light in this gray world. Come, drink with me." And he's very aggressive towards her in a, well,
he said
unacceptable manner. Well, yeah. A, he's had a few. B, he's just been exiled by his mother. You know, he's just being a Hanyak. And she wants nothing to do with him. Then, for some weird reason, his mother shows up.
Yeah.
And she's no longer angry at him, which is yet another thing I don't quite get out of this.
Kind of weird temperament.
Yeah, once again, I think there's stuff missing. And you watch the extended version, you get some of that stuff. And she had sent her troops off to try and stop the people who had Excalibur by setting up ambushes in the roadway.
Yep.
Because when they come back to the end, they've got to go down that one road, and they can attack and all that stuff. Because it's just a continuous running back and forth between the inn and the lake, and the inn and the lake.
Yeah.
So she talks to the young lady, and she has the sort of mesmerism effect of the master, or in this episode, the Doctor. And she's like, "Come here." And she gets the young lady to drop her weapon, get on her knees, and then she starts to pull the information from the young lady's mind about the troop strength and stuff. And the young lady starts screaming. She's like, "Silence." and then she just falls over.
Passes out.
Yeah, the young lady. No.
Maybe dead.
No, I think she's dead.
Not dead.
I think she's dead.
Because the bartender says, you can't just leave her like that. And she goes, oh, you're right. And then she turns her into marbles.
I thought it was ash.
Ash. So then she's definitely dead.
She's absolutely dead.
Yeah.
So our first death that we are absolutely sure of.
First or second? I think maybe one of the future knights got blown up. Or died. Probably first death.
Okay.
And then...
Much more later on. There's a lot more death in episode 4.
Ton. Yeah.
Tons. We go from 1 death out of 3 episodes to just everybody in episode 4.
And she goes, oh yeah, your tab, my son's tab, I have to pay his tab. And then she cures Doris's blindness.
Mm-hmm. Once again, she is incredibly honorable. And the doctor plays on that later.
Or bipolar. Like she's mad at Mordred. She's not mad at him anymore. She kills the one girl and then heals the other one.
Mm-hmm. Once again,
kind of flip-floppy.
Yeah.
I'm cold.
Yeah. You could probably say bipolar. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, she cures the blind lady of her blindness. She says, I'll pay my son's tab. And then they leave. And the doctor, the brigadier, the archaeologist, Ace, and Young are all in the front car, the Land Rover.
Mm-hmm.
In the second car, which is Young's little car, you have
everyone else.
Well, Brigadier Winifred and Anselin, just the 2 of them. And he does a tease play by snagging her keys to make them a little later for plot points.
Ah,
Yeah.
missed that.
Oh yeah, well, it's not shown that he takes her keys, but she's like, I'm frustrated. He's like, why, are you looking for something? She says, yes. These? And in the meantime, they noted in the front, the Land Rover, or the Range Rover or whatever, that they weren't following yet.
Ah.
But that gave time between the 2 groups to be assaulted by the knights.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Gotcha.
Anyway, they're going down the road, back to the inn, and the doctor's like, I don't like this. The brigadier's like, why not? He's like, we haven't been attacked yet. He's like, I like that fact. He says, I don't, because it means that Morgaine is using more subtle methods. And then right about that time, they get attacked.
Are you happy now, Doctor?
Yes, good. They get attacked, and they manage to weave through it. Oh, they lose the back window and some bits of the Range Rover. And they tell Skybirds. Was that their code name?
Salamanders?
No. For the younger brigadier, Winifred. I think it was Skybirds.
Oh.
But hey, you're gonna have problems here. You know, they've set up an ambush, and at this point,
they drive through it anyway.
Well, they drive to the first 2. And then there's a whole line of like 10 of them across the road.
Yeah.
And that one they can't go towards, so they turn to the left. And then there's an explosion, and the main party thinks they've died. But they managed to get out and climb up stuff, and they're still alive.
They're fine.
Yeah. So the brigadier and all of them finally get back to the inn, where apparently unit has shown up in mass, and they're unloading all these weapons.
Yeah.
Tons of them. And he's like, look, we have Teflon coated bullets, armor piercing that'll go through a Dalek.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
bullets,
like,
armor piercing for Daleks.
Yeah.
Gold tip
we
bullets.
we have gold bullets for Cybermen. And the doctor's like, do you have any silver bullets? It's like, why? You never know.
Or vampires.
Well, no,
Werewolves.
traditionally it'd be werewolves. I actually have a silver bullet.
Oh, nice.
Man. It doesn't have I don't think it has the powder in the back that ejects it. The gunpowder. But it's actual bullet shaped and it's silver.
They used to sell vampire slaying kits back in the day. Little silver bullets and a stake and pistol and
Silver was never for vampires. It was always for werewolves.
Was it? Huh.
Crosses are good for vampires too.
Crossbows.
No, crosses.
Not great at aerodynamics.
No, just to hold them back with a cross.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also your faith, which we'll see in 2 more serials.
Ah.
But it's not against vampires there. It's against zombie-esque creatures.
You ever read the Dresden Files?
No.
Oh.
No, but they made a miniseries with Harry Potter.
Oh.
I haven't seen it.
Me either.
Okay, so of course the silver bullets are going to come into play, you know. Oh, and what was it they had for Yeti? I'm trying to remember, anti-tank things or something.
Something.
Yeah, they had something for Yeti. But the brigadier tells the doctor about all the advancements they made and stuff. Then they go into the inn, and they are trying to evacuate the local citizenry that are not, related with UNIT, which is Patrick and his wife, the now she can see lady, not blind.
Yeah.
The archaeologist, and they were trying to do Young as well, but she kind of snuck off with Ace.
Yeah.
The doctor uses a bit of Time Lord Master-esque mind control to trick them and convince them that they do want to leave when they didn't. The rabbit season, duck season kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he gets them to believe that they wanted to leave. So they get evacuated out, which is good. And then the rest of them go into the inn, and they're trying to think of what they're going to do and what their next plan is. This whole serial happens in a day, doesn't it?
Sun rises at some point, right?
2 days.
2 days.
Right. There's the one night when they're coming back from London, and he says,
the helicopter.
Yeah, and he's like, "Isn't it how beautiful?" Yeah, and
they stayed
Brigadier Winifred and Anselin had kind of leaned on each other while they were sleeping, and the doctor, pow, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So 2 days. 2 days.
2 days.
Anyway, continually, I'm gonna get some ice. Sponsored.
Oh, Betsy makes a comeback this cereal.
Yes, Betsy.
So here we are, Bessie. So we're back at the end. Ham and cheese sandwich. Whoa. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what happens, but things happen. But how's your day been? Let me see if I can do this recap. Girl uses... Okay, so the doctor uses hypnotism, convinces the other 3 to leave. We're back in the main hotel thing, and the doctor gives Ace a piece of chalk. Says, if you're in danger, if you feel anything is off, use this piece of chalk, draw a circle around yourself, and that'll keep you safe. And you and Young stay in the chalk circle. Don't leave it for any means at all. And then Bessie makes a comeback. The Brigadier is talking about, hey, we have these gold-tipped bullets for Cybermen, we have the armor-piercing rounds for Daleks, and the anti-tank for Yetis, and a little later on he goes, hey, we have something else for you. And guess who? It's Bessie, the Who-mobile vehicle thing. Sorry, I need caffeine. It's been a day. So Ace and Young are like, oh, look at this old vehicle, look how antiquated it is. It's 0 to 60 in all of 2 minutes. That fast, and then it peels out.
Fire.
Like burnt rubber. So she has her piece of chalk now. It peeled out in Bessie. That's where we're at. Why does the TARDIS How come the TARDIS set was so worn, but Bessie was in such good condition? Was that a new Bessie?
I don't know. Maybe it was somebody's personal car and they just took good care of it.
Well, they did not take good care of the TARDIS. Like the wooden control panel one? Got warped.
Well, yeah, that unfortunately, yeah.
Does that ever make a comeback?
No, not yet.
Do we ever see Bessie again?
I don't think so. It may make a brief appearance in the 30th anniversary, which was the Third Doctor's final episode as the Doctor.
So we have Ace and Young pretty much alone now. The only two people in the inn. There's like some lights flickering, and they go, well, the first sign of danger, we're supposed to draw this chalk circle, right?
Mm-hmm. You get the feeling there's somebody else in the inn, a soldier or two, because they relayed a message to the Brigadier that night has fallen here.
Yeah.
Which I don't think the young ladies had that equipment.
Maybe 3 days takes place now.
Well, no. Just as night has fallen here, when it was daytime. That's the whole point.
Oh, yeah. So they draw their circle.
Yeah.
Keep them safe. They got Excalibur. And then they start bickering amongst one another. Ace goes, this is stupid. And Young goes, don't call me stupid. And she goes, you're stupid.
Yeah.
They're bickering. They're fighting. And she almost pushes Ace out of the circle when they're doing this back and forth. And that's when they realize someone's messing with their minds.
Yep. Good scene.
They hug.
It's actually a really good scene.
They hug, and
Morgaine, she's got an orb, and she's watching them through it, and it's like, so they breed their children strong here.
Yeah.
And then she summons the Destroyer, which we know they've not mentioned anything before.
Nothing.
There's no Destroyer in Arthurian legend that I'm aware of. She just brings out this Destroyer, and it's this weird purple guy with horns, and you could make it bigger so you can see.
There's a lot of drool.
Yeah, but it's a good practical effect. I like the practical effect. And he comes out of nowhere, this new bad guy at the very end, and she says, "Aha! I will use them, and we will." And so she goes to the girls, to Ace and Young, and she says, "Give me what is mine. Give me what is mine by right of conquest, Excalibur." And they're like, Ace is like, "Never! No, you must give it to me." And Ace is like, "Well, if you're so strong, why don't you just take it?" Morgan's like, "Good point." And then she goes, and she can't break the barrier of the chalk.
Best impression of a mime.
And she can't break it. And so finally she goes, "Well,
I know who can. That purple dude over there."
Yep.
But he's chained up in silver. So she's really dragging him around. He's still cuffed in silver, so he can't do much. The silver burns. He's weak to silver. So she bought him more as like a bluffing piece or something. She's not sending him free. But she says, he has the power to overcome your little chalk barrier, so you might as well come and give me the sword.
And you will serve as his handmaidens in hell. It's like, damn.
End of episode 3.
Yep. Okay. Episode 4. The Doctor gets to the battle. Okay. Yeah, with the Brigadier. And there's a large battle going on between Unit and Anselin on one side, and Brigadier Winifred. And on the other side, Mordred and the Black Knights.
Mm-hmm.
And was it like 40, 50, 60 people die in this battle?
No, not that many.
And we can pause it and look at it.
Well, there's a lot of corpses, but I was just counting the ones that died on screen.
Okay, so how many do you have that die on screen?
Well, like 20.
Okay, but when you gaze over the battle scene...
There's a lot of extras lying down.
Yeah, there's at least 50 people there.
Something like that.
Yeah, so whether on screen, 20, or off screen, total of about 50. We didn't pause and count them, but it's got to be something like that. This is one of the deadlier Doctor Who's in a while.
Yeah, only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Especially because all that happened in 1 episode.
Yeah.
We had a couple of people die other than that. The battle scene.
Yeah, we haven't had as many people die since the...
Dalek Master.
No, the 5th Doctor. Remember that one serial where, like, everybody dies? You got the Resistance on the ground, and it was like 70-something was our body count.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since that, you know? I think it's our highest death total, if you count all of them. But yeah, that one was bleak. Alright.
This one too.
Yeah.
Bleak battlefield.
Yeah.
During which Winifred grabs a sword and starts sword fighting, even though she's, I imagine, has no sword fighting training.
To be fair, who knows? She's in unit. She might have gotten extra training, but...
She ran out of bullets or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm assuming, is she ran out of bullets. And at one point, the Doctor comes up, and the Brigadier says, what are you going to... He's like, there shouldn't be a battle. There shouldn't be bloodshed today. The Brigadier's like, what are you going to do? Walk in the middle of the battlefield and tell them to stop? And he goes, good idea. So right as Anselin and Mordred are about to fight, the Doctor walks up to him, stop! You know, and he's Merlin. So they listen to him. There will be no bloodshed. There will be no battle today. And Mordred's like, this isn't a battle. This is a diversion. Yeah. My mother is with the 2 girls you left, and she has summoned the Destroyer.
Been distracting you, you big turd blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What brings that up?
Where he does the dance off to distract him.
Oh.
Ooh, child. I'm distracting you, you big turd blossom. So this is just a diversion. Let me tell you our plan.
I'm thinking more of the giant battle going on in Return of the King, while Frodo and Sam are about to drop the ring in.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's more of what that is. Yeah. But yeah, Guardians works too.
Hmm.
All right. So, and the Doctor's like, Morgane's like, oh yeah, you have. I will destroy these 2 here. And Doctor's like, let them go. I will not. And the Doctor, he uses his umbrella so many times in this serial.
Yeah, he does.
So many times. It's like a third arm, you know, or an extension. He grabs the front of the sword with his hand, and then he uses his umbrella to hook towards the back of Mordred's blade, and he's got him like right here.
I will decapitate you.
Yes, I will decapitate you unless you let them go. And Morgane's like,
you don't kill, Doctor.
No, Merlin.
Merlin.
You don't kill. And finally,
no, you too will.
Yeah, finally, Mordred looks the Doctor in the eye. He's like, look me in the eye and end my life.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's like, I can't do it. But he keeps the sword.
Yeah.
And then the Brigadier walks up and he puts a gun to Mordred's head and he says, try me. Well, that's a kick-ass moment from the Brigadier. It's like,
Brigadier's cool.
Yeah. It's like, try me. And Morgane's like, wear this man. He is steeped in blood. You know, because the Doctor doesn't kill, really, but the Brigadier has no problem with it. And so the Brigadier's like, let them go, or I will kill him. And Morgane's response is, die well.
Yeah.
It's like,
have fun with that.
Thanks, Mom.
Mother. But Mom.
It's like, die well. Oh, thanks. You're a big help here.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, they were back in the end, right?
Yeah.
Margaret and the Devourer.
Right. She... so there's a big explosion. Well, wait.
How does she get the sword?
Hold on. The doctor and the brigadier take Mordred in Bessie. The brigadier sitting in back with a gun pointed at Mordred.
Yeah.
They go fly, zip towards the inn. Which Bessie having a hyper speed really works well for the plot, because at its old speed it wouldn't work as well.
Yeah.
For the plot. And then this is when they show the battlefield, and the only people left alive on it that you see are Brigadier Winifred, Becerra, whatever it is, and Asselin. And he's like, "'Twas a good battle." And she looks at him. You find out some other people survived when she's walking around. There's people taking off the bodies, and she's, "Sergeant, I need my coffee. Where's that coffee?" Yeah. But yeah, at the time they show 50 bodies and only those 2 alive.
All the Black Knights are gone.
Yeah.
Eliminated with bullets.
So, bullets and swords.
Because they brought swords to a gunfight with unit.
Yeah, but swords were also used on unit's side. By Brigadier Winifred.
By the Brigadier.
And by
once she
Anselin.
ran out of bullets.
Yeah.
Anselin.
Okay. So
of course they're going to lose to unit.
Alright. So the doctor and the brigadier get back to the inn. And the doctor's like, "No," and the inn explodes. And this is one of those moments that could have been the end of an episode, right? The inn explodes. The doctor gets knocked back. Then he runs in, and he's looking around all the rubble, hoping for Ace and Young to be alive. And then he finally finds them under some rubble. Mm-hmm. Then he's like, "Okay, what happened?" And she's like, "Well, the inn collapsed in on us." And he's like, "Okay, what happened to Excalibur?" "Well, we gave it to Morgaine."
Yeah, it doesn't even show that part.
No, it doesn't show. Once again, like I said, this could have been another episode or 2 easily. And he goes, "Well, good." She's like, "What do you mean good?" He says, "Well, alien swords are easy to come by, but there's only aces."
Only one ace.
Yeah, the aces are really rare. He tweaks her nose. So gone is Morgaine, gone is the destroyer. And then the doctor or brigadier's looking around, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?" In some sort of interdimensional portal.
Yeah.
And the special effects aren't great. And the doctor's like, "That's where they've gone to. We need to go there and confront them and get Excalibur back." And okay, I forgot the part where they blew up the spaceship underwater after they realized that King Arthur was just dust.
Oh, I thought that happened after then.
It was probably after then.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is that where the teleporter? No, I don't know.
I think it's a little bit after. It's somewhere in here. Anyway, so it's somewhere in here. So the doctor goes into the little portal, and he kind of turns around and and then the brigadier does the same thing.
Yeah.
And he tells the girls to stay.
Of course, Ace doesn't listen.
Right. Well, she has a reason this time. Ace realizes that the destroyer was held by silver, and the silver burns. So, like the Cyberman's problem being gold, his problem is being such a werewolf-y demon is silver. Mm-hmm. Lycanthropic. That's the word.
Lycanthrope.
Lycanthrope is the name of the type. Lycanthropic is the adjective? Yeah, adjective. I think.
Nice.
Alright, so Ace goes, "Oh yeah, the silver. He's harmed by silver." She grabs the silver bullets and she goes in.
So the Devourer is a werewolf.
More of a demon, but I guess they're affected by silver too. Doesn't look werewolfish to me. More demonic.
You ever play Skyrim?
Yeah, I played it for about 30 minutes.
30 minutes, that's it?
I saved up my money to buy it. I bought it. I played it for 30 minutes and went, this is World of Warcraft without the people. I could be playing World of Warcraft. And I went back to World of Warcraft.
Played a lot of World of Warcraft?
I did back in the day. I played solid for like 10 years, and I have like a year and a half of actual playtime.
Now it's all Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars, Everdell, yeah. I haven't found another computer game that enraptures me as much as those two.
World of Warcraft.
Lately, yeah. Alright, so the doctor goes in, he challenges Morgaine, she's like, I have here's the destroyer right here. Doctor can't get in, the destroyer's like, she's
Unleash me.
Wait a minute, you gave him access. And the destroyer's like, I did it so you would release me so I could defeat him.
Yeah.
And devour this and many other worlds. And she's like,
Okay.
So,
Well played.
So she's like, well, it's too late. I've got the Excalibur. We're going to do the interdimensional thing, and I will control all. And then the doctor shows up with the Brigadier. And the doctor and she are kind of dancing around the portal thing, the two orbs and the little deal of dirt and heat. And she's like, well, I have all the cards. She's like, well, the game isn't over yet. She's like, I can always beat you in chess. He says, I'm not playing chess, I'm playing poker. And right then, Ace shows up right next to Morgaine, knocks her over, and he says, and I have an ace up my sleeve. Right, Doctor grabs Excalibur. Now it's funny because the doctor's like, I have Excalibur, you've lost. And she says, well, I will release a destroyer. And he's like, no you won't. She says, I will.
Some musical chairs with Excalibur goes on here.
Yeah, it goes back and forth a couple of times. The doctor using his umbrella to grab it from her, stuff like that. She releases the destroyer. Right after that, her son shows up. And she's like, he's like, you false parent, you left me to die. She's like, it wasn't like that. And you get the feeling there's a little bit cut out here, but it's like, it was, like this was a bluff or something like that. I knew you would survive or something. It wasn't like that. And then because she had already activated the transporter, they disappear. But then you've got the destroyer, and the Brigadier already showed up and shot his 6 bullets at the destroyer. Destroyer's like, nah, no problem. He shoots something at the Brigadier and throws him out the window.
Yeah.
Defenestrates him. And Ace had shown up with the silver bullets. The Doctor and Ace run, and it's just the destroyer in the ruins, Brigadier outside. They grab the Brigadier and they run further afield, and the Doctor's like, this is the end of the world. He's going to destroy everything. And this destroyer is not mentioned anytime previously in Doctor Who. Doesn't show up anytime in the future in Doctor Who. There's no.
He dies.
He dies, but there's no mention of why this guy is that bad. But remember, Doctor Who travels in time, so the destroyer could show up prior in his timeline to when that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's from this other. He's the big bad of this other dimension.
Yeah, this other universe.
Yeah.
But the Doctor apparently knew of him somehow
because he's Merlin. But in the future,
will be Merlin, right?
Will be Merlin.
But somehow the Doctor still knows of him. And anyway, so the Doctor's like, Ace, silver bullets, Brigadier, your gun. Ace is like, how did you know I'd bring them? Yeah, I know. And then the Doctor's about to go and shoot the destroyer, and the Brigadier's like, look, a spaceship, and then knocks the Doctor out, takes his gun, and he decides it's his job to go kill the destroyer.
I'm more expendable than you are.
Yes, exactly what he says. And then he goes in, and the destroyer's doing the evil.
Even though, doesn't the Brigadier know the Doctor just regenerates when he dies?
Yeah.
So he's not more expendable.
Yeah.
The Doctor's more expendable.
The Doctor apparently at this point has... all the Doctor has to do is take the fob watch and have an infinite number of lives, knowledge, and power. It's pretty ridiculous. All the timeless child stuff. But at this point, the Doctor still has a limited number of generations, at least in theory. So the Brigadier goes in. The Destroyer is talking about all the worlds he's going to consume, doing the whole bad guy, I will do this. And then the Brigadier shoots him with the silver bullets, blows up a bit of the ruins, and the Brigadier gets thrown afield. And this could have been the ending of another episode, you know, if you'd had the stuff for it. The Doctor and who's with him? Ace? Yeah. Yeah, the Doctor and Ace run up. The Doctor starts giving a soliloquy over the Brigadier because he's dead. And the Brigadier's like, I'm not dead. And I was like, you're supposed to be dead. He's like, no. The Doctor's like, you were supposed to die in your sleep. Yeah, it was supposed to be me. And the Brigadier's like, I'm not dead. So the Doctor and the Brigadier and Ace head back to do some cleanup, as the Brigadier calls it. And they head back to the nuclear missile. And at the nuclear missile, apparently Morgaine and her son Mordred didn't disappear in the orbs to their universe. They disappeared to the lake, which makes no sense given how that works. But it's not explained, like I said, could be longer. They get Brigadier Winifred to give them the access codes to the nuclear weapon. Against her will, but she does the mind thing on it. Yeah. She goes, what is the secret incantation? I don't know what you're talking about. The incantation. The
pass code.
Yeah, well, she looks the something launch code or something, yeah. Access launch code or something. And it's like, she gets the information, she starts to set the nuclear weapon to go off. Mordred brings Brigadier Winifred out. She's unconscious on his shoulder. Dumps her as is accosted by Anselin. And Anselin's, and they fight, and this goes on for a while.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the Doctor gets there, and they're fighting, and there's this great scene where they bring their swords back for a moment, and the Doctor walks right between them and tips his hat and keeps going. And they look at him, and they look at each other, and they go back to fighting. It's a great little moment. The Doctor then confronts Morgaine inside the control trailer, whatever. And she's like, it's over. I've won. And he's like, not while there is an abort button, you haven't won. And he goes for the abort button with his umbrella.
Yeah.
She grabs the umbrella and they're fighting.
Yeah.
Now, he's a small guy and she's a fairly strong woman. So yeah, so I can easily believe that they are fighting that contest there because he's really kind of a small guy. And they're wrestling for it, and he goes, look, if that goes off, there will rain death upon the whole world, because this is still the Cold War, 1989. It's like a couple of years before it ended, or maybe just a little less than a year before it ended. But he's like, these children will look into the sky, and their eyes will turn to ashes, and this is not honorable, and this is not a battle. This is a slaughter. Yeah. Is this how you want to fight? And finally he gets to her honorable side and she goes, no. And this is as the numbers are counting down to, like
from 60
to almost nothing. And so she finally releases the umbrella and turns it off herself at 1 second.
1 second to go.
Yeah.
Nail biter.
Yeah, good for her. She didn't want to she wanted to do things honorably, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to kill millions for no reason.
Yeah. They all lived happily ever after.
Well, kind of. So then she says, okay, I must see Arthur. I still want to see Arthur. And the doctor, who's supposedly Merlin.
She apparently was in love with Arthur?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. You don't know the Arthurian legends?
Mograine, the lady at the lake, is in love with?
No.
I thought Mograine was the lady at the lake.
No.
Two different ladies.
Yes.
Oh.
So, Morgaine, she loved King Arthur even though he had his wife, Guinevere.
Mm-hmm.
Guinevere was unfaithful with Sir Lancelot.
Oh.
But Morgaine disguised herself as Guinevere with her sorcery.
Uh-huh.
Seduces King Arthur because he thinks it's his wife. And Mordred is King Arthur's son.
Ew.
Yeah, because she was super in love with King Arthur.
Huh.
And you put Excalibur, the movie, on your list, right? The movie list?
Yes.
Okay.
On my phone.
That will show all of that when we watch it.
Sweet.
Okay. Okay, so she's like Arthur. He was shown as bright as the sun and was just as beautiful. I must see him again. And
You did.
yeah, somewhere in there they blew up the spaceship and they found out King Arthur was dead. The doctor tells her she is crestfallen. Well, I will look upon his gaze one more time. He's like, no, he's ash. She says, I will not even have that comfort. And the doctor leaves the trailer. In the meantime...
There's a nerve pinch on...
Yeah. Mordred had actually defeated
bested
Ancelin. Yeah, bested Ancelin. And was about to kill him. And Ancelin's like, I don't care. You killed my love. Because he thinks the Brigadier Winifred over there is dead. Yeah, so I fear not to die. And just as Mordred's about to kill him, the doctor once again uses his umbrella, which he uses so much in the serial, pulls down his arm, showing greater strength in that young man, which is kind of odd considering
he just
did a standstill with an older lady. Yeah. But once again, she's immortal.
Supernatural.
She's immortal and ageless. So hey, give her that credit. Pulls that down, says, "There's no killing today," and then kind of nerve pinches him.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah, Vesuvian
nerve pinch.
Kind judo or whatever. Venusian
Kung
Fu. So Aikido, that was it. Venusian Aikido. So he tells Brigadier Winifred to lock them both up, Mordred and Morgaine. In theory, we could see them again in some future Doctor Who episode.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
We never see them again.
No, not yet. I said in theory. We could see them again. But no, they haven't come back.
Do we ever see Bessie again?
I answered that a little earlier, which is, I don't think so. The only time it might come back is in the Children in Need 30th anniversary.
Oh.
Okay. Because that is the third Doctor's, Pertwee's final appearance as the Doctor, and it might be in there. I can't quite remember. I don't think so. But that would be the last time we've seen it. This time would be the most recent time we've seen it otherwise.
Okay.
Alright. And I love it when they pull the tarp off of it. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. So anyway, at the very end of the serial, you have everyone back at the Brigadier's house, his estate with the big garden.
Big old house.
His wife is going out. He's like, well, where are you going? She's like, I'm going out with the girls. And it's Ace, Young, and Brigadier Winifred.
What about supper?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Have something delicious ready for me.
Right. And in the meantime, she says, well, why don't you roll the lawn, which means to mow it over there.
Oh.
And so the ladies leave in Bessie, and they're going apparently to go drinking because Ace is driving out, but she's going to drive back. So implication, which is good because Ace didn't get her drink earlier. She was kind of shot down by the doctor. Yeah. So they're going out drinking and having a good time at a pub. And she said, "Oh yeah, mow the lawn or roll the lawn, and have supper cooked for us when we get back, more or less." And Brigadier looks over at Ansel and he's like, "How good are you with a lawnmower?" Guys have probably never heard of one.
And the doctor says,
"I'll cook supper." End of episode 4. So, all right, good story, really good story, which is why there was a special edition done.
Yep.
Good character arcs. Brigadier Winifred and Anselin, you get the feeling are now a couple. And of course, the Brigadier has a wife now. She finally caught him, and he gets a good retirement episode, and it's really good.
We ever see the Brigadier again?
We do in the Sarah Jane Adventures. One serial. They're all little 2-part things.
Ah.
So it could have been one 45-minute episode, but they break it up into 2 22-minute episodes in order to have the see it next week for this finish thing.
I see.
So they're all little 2-parters in the Sarah Jane Adventures. Kids have shorter attention spans. It was aimed at kids, and then we see his corpse resurrected as a Cyberman in one episode in order to save his daughter. In the official show, we see him in several third-party bits. One in which they introduce his daughter, actually.
Nice.
Downtime is another good one. I like that one.
Oh, okay.
So we see him in a good bit of the third-party stuff, then in Sarah Jane Adventures, and the actor had passed away by the time they were going to bring him back, so they kind of bring back him in spirit anyway.
Ah. So we have a bit of the Brigadier to go.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
We kind of already covered them.
Good.
We talked about why it's dark in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
We talked about the new Brigadier. We talked about why they think the Doctor is Merlin. It's because he is Merlin.
Will be Merlin.
Helicopter will be Merlin. And then we talked about why his voice opens the door anyway. We talked about Morgraine killing the girl and then healing Doris. We talked about the Doctor's hypnotism, kind of like Morgraine does. Bessie's return. TARDIS set worn. Bessie's in good condition. Doctor threatens Mordred. Winifred's sword fights with no training. Doctor does nerve pinch.
Well, we don't know if she didn't have any training.
And then, if we ever see the antagonists again, and no, not yet, right?
Correct. We've never seen Mordred, Morgaine, or the Devourer again.
Well, the Devourer's dead.
Yeah, once we see him before he dies. Yeah.
So, any Doctor Who news this week?
Well, I picked up. We didn't do this last week, right?
New Blu-ray, right?
Yeah. I picked up the new Blu-ray last Thursday because our last episode was 2 weeks ago of season 25, which is hilarious because we had just finished season 25
the
just before it was released.
But we cut this one on Blu-ray, right?
Yeah. All of this Doctor's stuff is on Blu-ray, with the exception of his bit in the TV movie. That's been released in Blu-ray in the United Kingdom, but never in the United States.
Oh, how come?
I don't know, but
upsetting.
Yeah, I'm hoping that as they go through and they are releasing everything in Blu-ray,
they're region locked and everything, right? If you order it from, put it in the DVD player, it'll say this isn't.
Well, no. I have a region-free DVD player,
nice.
But not a region-free Blu-ray player. So I'm hoping as they go through and they continue to release everything on Blu-ray, like season 25 and all this stuff, that they will go ahead and release the TV movie in the U.S. on Blu-ray.
That'd be nice.
It would. And I'm hoping they do that. But yeah, he is the first Doctor where all of the stuff where he's the main character, because the 8th Doctor is the main Doctor in the TV movie, has been released on Blu-ray.
Cool.
So, yeah. His only bit that's not been released on Blu-ray is a TV movie, and of course the 30th anniversary special, which will probably never be released.
Never?
It's on YouTube. I told you about that, right? So
Vaguely remember.
they were making a big 30th anniversary special, which would include all the Doctors who are alive, which at the time was 3 through 7. Okay. The only Doctor that's passed away since then, of numbered Doctors, is the 3rd Doctor. Tom Baker, 4 through 7, 4 through 16 or 15 are still alive. But they were planning on this big special, and they had a script. And then Fox got in talks with the BBC to restart the show and do the TV movie, and if it did well, keep doing seasons beyond that.
Yeah.
But
Didn't do well.
Well, they didn't want a 30th anniversary to come out and confuse people about who the Doctor was, because all the anniversary stories include as many Doctors as they can,
right?
Or at least did traditionally. They don't as much nowadays. Okay. Yes. So anyway, so they didn't want the confusion, so they took this big script they had and they stripped it down to 25-30 minutes, and they made a Children in Need special out of it.
Right.
But it's essentially the 30th anniversary, because there's nothing else for the 30th anniversary.
Huh. They won't release that on DVD, Blu-ray?
There are a lot of problems with doing that, because it was a Children in Need special and not an official episode of Doctor Who. At that point, everyone gave their time for free so that all the proceeds would go to the Children in Need. As a result, the requirement was that it never have an official release, I believe.
That's strange.
British law seems strange to us, a lot of their weird stuff. Like, here, Stan Lee makes Spider-Man, but Marvel owns Spider-Man. Or at least did till they sold it to Sony, even though he's a worker there. In Doctor Who, what's his name? Terry Nation made the Daleks. So he owns the rights to the Daleks, even though he worked for the BBC.
Yeah.
So their creator laws are different than ours, and it causes problems sometimes when it comes to releasing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's An Unearthly Child, the very first serial of Doctor Who. There are rights to the tribe of Gum that you remember the caveman?
Yeah.
The tribe of Gum. That the guy who came up with the tribe of Gum, his estate has the rights to it. Not on DVD or Blu-ray, but on streaming. Or something like that. It's really weird.
That is weird.
So there are certain Doctor Who serials that are not on streaming because other people have rights to them and have not relinquished them or allowed them to be shown, or weird stuff like that. It's a little bit of a mess, and there are stuff that will go on and off of BritBox or Disney Plus or ITV or whatever, because people are enforcing their rights at different times. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, different.
Anything else in the Doctor Who news sphere?
I don't know if I mentioned The Savages last time, but that is being animated right now and has a release date for the UK and for the US.
Nice.
Which they're cleaning up that's season 3.
Neat. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Or last. You heard it here last.
And we will see you next time when we're watching Ghostlight finally.
Ghostlight, yeah.
We'll see if you can follow it.
I'm gonna explain to you exactly what happens to Ghostlight.
No, I now understand it, but it should have been, that last episode should have been 3 or 4 episodes. It just bam, 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 bam. And it was just crazy. But yeah, 3 episodes. The second serial of the final season of Doctor Who's original run. And then we'll get to the Curse of Fenric and Survival.
Cool. We'll see you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-boop. Boop.